Welcome to Health in Retirement. Each week, we'll discuss health challenges facing retirees and various ways to address them. We focus on more than just physical health. We look at financial health, mental and emotional health, as well as spiritual health. With your hosts, Rick and Rebecca, this is Health in Retirement.
Hi, and welcome into Health in Retirement, the weekly show that provides you a holistic look at health in retirement. And it's so much more than just the physical health. There's the spiritual, the emotional, the mental, the sense of purpose. I'm Rick Everett.
And I'm Rebecca Jones.
And we are your hosts for this episode of Health in Retirement. Joining us from the Center for Peace and Forgiveness is Diane Sherwood. Diane, welcome in.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
The Center for Peace and Forgiveness. Number one, what is it and how did it get its start?
So for most of my life, I've been in what we call alternate dispute resolution, where I do mediation, custody mediations. I manage the most highly conflicted families in our county. And about when the pandemic hit, I realized that I was really working with a lot of conflict and not working with a lot of peace. So I stopped practicing law and decided to focus on peace. I had come across in 2018 a speaker whose name is Eileen Barker out of California, and she created the skill of forgiveness based on a lot of reading that she had done. And so now she teaches others how to teach people how to forgive.
Very good. So forgiveness training.
So forgiveness is a skill. And a lot of times people say, just let it go, just forgive, you've got to move on. But nobody knew the how. And the how is the magic, right? And so she's created a multi-step process whereby she teaches you the how. So forgiveness training is really for those people who are stuck in their anger or hurt, people who feel victimized by those around them. And then we take that and we talk about what's going on there. We analyze what's going on there. And then we go back and teach you the origin of where that arose from. And then we heal it.
Right. Have you noticed in this forgiveness training that maybe, as you get older, wouldn't there be maybe more reasons for forgiveness as you get older?
So I'm not sure that there's reasons for forgiveness because you are older, but because you are older, you are better able to reflect back on your life.
Right.
When you are, one of the things that we do, we find the origin of it. Mm-hmm. So you really need some life ability to look back and reflect. Mm-hmm. I've used this with a 22-year-old woman who we found what I believe is the origin of her anxiety. So I haven't had good success yet with depression, but I've had really good success with anxiety, hurt, and anger. And we go back and we find the origin of it and explain to you how it was not what you're going through today, but what happened decades ago probably that caused what's going on today.
Now, Diane Sherwood, you've mentioned that you were an attorney. You also were a social worker.
So when I graduated from college in '83 with a degree in psychology with emphasis in behavior management. And I went out to the National Children's Rehabilitation Center where I worked with emotionally disturbed children. And I came back to Wichita in 1984-ish and worked at our family business, Sherwood Construction Company. And I went into my dad's office and I said, hey, I wanted a graduate degree. Let me get my MBA. He said, go to law school. So I go to law school. And then I hit the glass ceiling in our family business. So I went out on my own, started doing mediations. And at some training that I was giving, I said, someday mediation will be in universities, not knowing that it already was. And there just happened to be the right person in the right audience who said, my husband's a dean at Newman, come teach mediation at Newman University. And when I was there, one of the employee benefits you get is you get to attend school. And he said, why don't you work on your social work, your master's in social work? And so it took me a lot longer than it should have because I was being a lawyer, teaching mediation, raising my son, being a wife, and going to school to get my master's. But in 2008, I got my master's in social work.
So the name of the show is Health in Retirement, and our special guest in this segment is Diane Sherwood from the Center for Peace and Forgiveness in Wichita. And so, Diane, a question I have for you is, as people are entering retirement, nearing retirement, or perhaps early in retirement, and they've had this life change. They've gone from being the person at work at least 8 hours a day, and now they're into retirement, and they have all of these extra time periods on their hands. And you talk about forgiveness training and how to forgive and things like this. Do you find that as people get to a point in their life when they have more time on their hands, that there's more time for them to reflect on not only the positives but the hurts, and so they tend to float to the surface perhaps?
My experience is that children let hurts go and adults hang on to them. So that most people look back and say, oh, I remember the bad things. And it's then we beat ourselves up for those.
Right.
Right. And so they say that every mistake is punished once unless you're human, and then you punish yourself over and over and over again.
Exactly. Yeah, it can definitely be hard. I know in today's society, with people going to work so much these days, it's such a hustle culture that we're working and working and working, and we don't really get to allow ourselves feel these emotions, and we just hide it with work.
So not only is it work, a lot of people hide it with work, they hide it with their kids, they hide it with substance abuse, they hide it with exercise. People really don't like to feel the bad things. And so we'll find that when people are, in the classes I've done, one woman said, I can't do this, this hurts. And I'm like, we need to feel that. We need to feel that. And so we work a lot on feeling your feelings, and then coaching you through to understand them and then to release them.
Safe to say it's okay to feel the feelings, but you can't let the feelings dominate you.
And so it is a matter of not being dominated by your fears and your angers, but the whole person is good and bad, is positive and negative. And so if you always repress your negative feelings, you store them. There's a book called The Body Keeps the Score. And what we find is that a lot of times the illnesses or pains that you have come from the negative feelings you didn't allow to be released. When somebody says, oh, I got a pain in my neck, right? That you carry that feeling in that body part that you describe where your bad things are happening.
Right. That's what I mentioned last time, Rick. I said emotions are emotion, energy in motion. And that's exactly what she's talking about.
Her name is Diane Sherwood. She's with the Center for Peace and Forgiveness here in Wichita. Diane, how can people get a hold of you to learn more?
So at 3:00 in the morning, I woke up a year ago and I said, PEACE, what phone number goes with that? And I couldn't call it in the middle of the night. So I got up the next morning and I dialed 26 PEACE, and it was beep, 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 beep.
So it was all
So
yours.
I called it, and I called AT&T and got the number. So it's 316-267-3223.
Or 26-Peace.
Or 26-Peace.
And the website?
peaceandforgiveness.com.
All right. Diane Sherwood, thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We have more of Health and Retirement coming your way. Stacey Cadenhead is with Three Feathers Wellness, and she'll join us right after this short break. Hi, and welcome back into Health and Retirement. I'm Rick Everett.
And I'm Rebecca Jones.
And Rebecca, you brought this next guest to us, Stacey Cadenhead. Stacey is with Three Feathers Wellness here in Wichita. Massage, Reiki, sound healing. And how did you come to know Stacey?
Well, we met in massage therapy school together, and we just kind of connected. I say on a soul level. We weren't sitting together at first, and then we just kind of connected and started sitting together, and just went through our training together. And she's helped me a lot through my whole training, and I've just learned so much from her. And I thought she has a wealth of knowledge to share with our customers here today.
Stacey, welcome in.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So the thing that triggered me to want to learn more about a part of what you do is called sound bath. And I had never been familiar with this term before Rebecca brought it to my attention.
You don't have to take your clothes off.
So share with us, what is sound bath and how does it work?
It's definitely not sitting in a bath. I don't know how many people have mentioned to me, well, I thought I would be in a bath.
Or can I do it in the shower?
You could, but it's more bathing in sound frequencies, and it's just a passive listening experience. It allows people to tune into their inner world and let the external world go. It's sort of a meditative experience, very self-exploratory.
Now, is this something that's done in tandem with one of your other offerings, such as massage?
I actually do this combination of massage, Reiki, and sound. It's more of an intuitive experience for me. So whatever instruments feel called in to use on the person on the table, they get that. They get the energy healing and massage. I like to incorporate mind, body, and soul in my work. So it's my favorite.
So your website, it says that Three Feathers Wellness specializes in body and energy work, providing personalized therapies that nourish the body, mind, and spirit, bringing you into a state of calm, relaxation, inside and out. So my question for you is, you work with a wide variety of clients, I'm assuming from the very young to the aged. And what do you see as being a beneficial part of sound bath for those that may be approaching or early in retirement?
I think it's perfect because we wake up in fight or flight when we're in the work world. We have our alarm set, external noise, all of this. And then, when we're settling down in that quiet space, we've identified so heavily with that world, we really don't even know who we are anymore. So it's more about coming to that calm place. Sound bath activates the parasympathetic nervous system, and it decreases anxiety, depression. It can have pain relieving benefits, and most of all, it leads people within themselves to discover who they really are on a soul level, not just who they've been in the world.
I can see how that can benefit because, like you said, you have so many external things coming in and you're go, 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 and you have yet to find within yourself, now what? Now, what do I want? Have you asked your soul, you're in retirement, now what do I want to do? How do I want to live my life? Yeah. And what is best for my soul? What is best for my body?
It really does create a space within ourselves to ask that question, who am I?
Kind of like taking a trip without leaving the farm in a pure sense.
Exactly.
Yes.
It is a journey. It is a journey.
A lot of people, as you said, we're in this work world and we're go, go, go all the time. And it just never shuts off. So I, in the past, have tried breathing exercises or meditation. And is that also a component that brings everything together, or is that along the same path as what sound bath can achieve?
Absolutely. It is a meditative experience. Most people are lying down on a mat, pillows over their eyes, the most comfortable place you can create for yourself, and it quiets the mind. I don't know how many clients and people that have come to sound bath have said, this is the first time I haven't had a thought in a long time.
That's got to be a peaceful feeling.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah. Can you tell us a little bit about maybe a testimony from one of your clients and maybe a transformative experience that they've had?
Sure. Overthinkers. I can actually give you an experience from one of my clients who thinks in words. They're not a visual visionary, if you will. And for the first time, they had a visionary experience in their in their mind. And I cannot tell you the spiritual growth they've had since then. It really sent them on the journey of self-discovery of who am I, what is my soul, and so many more people come and get relief from ailments because that does get stored in the body, which ties into your last guest, and it really helps move it. Like, it shakes things up. There's many instruments that do a lot of different things for people.
Stacey Cadenhead is with Three Feathers Wellness here in Wichita. And Stacey, if you could share with us a couple of benefits that you have seen actual clients of yours receive from these forms of treatment.
Recently, one client claimed, she said, it's like a massage to my nervous system, where has a lot of anxiety 24 hours a day, waking up with anxiety, going to bed with anxiety, overthinking. And the benefit she received from that, it was just absolute peace in her body and her mind. And of course, we feel that in our spirit. Goodness, there are just so many. One time, this woman told me, I asked a question before the sound bath started, and when you came over me with the ting shaws, which is like a ting, she's like, I got the answer right during the sound bath. I'm like, yay!
And I know you do hold group sound baths, and it can be a sort of community.
Absolutely.
Like, where people can connect with one another. Do you see people connecting and being, part of a community?
Becoming friends.
Right, exactly.
All the time, and it just keeps growing. Sound bath is becoming really popular in Wichita. I know there are several of us out there. And then they bring a friend. So it does grow. And I have clients of all ages. So it's really nice to see members of our community come together.
Stacey Cadenhead with Three Feathers Wellness of Wichita. Stacey, how can people contact you and learn more?
I do post everything on social media. So Instagram, Three Feathers Wellness LLC, or Facebook, Three Feathers Wellness. And that's where most of my stuff is. If you would like to book a massage, you can Google me.
All right.
There is a massage website.
And it's Three Feathers Wellness, and the three is spelled out. So Three Feathers Wellness. Stacey Cadenhead, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you.
We've got one segment left, and when we come back, we'll be visiting with Cory Hiebert of Market Medicare Advisors, and we'll do that right after this. Welcome back into Health and Retirement, the weekly show that covers a holistic approach to health in retirement. It's a lot more than just the physical health. It's the mental, the emotional, the sense of purpose. It all comes into play. I'm Rick Everett.
And I'm Rebecca Jones.
And Rebecca, a fantastic job of getting guests set up for this week. We had Diane Sherwood from the Center for Peace and Forgiveness, and then Stacey Cadenhead with Three Feathers Wellness. And it really did bring in a focus on the holistic approach to retirement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, maybe some people might, it's definitely a different approach, but I think maybe in these different approaches, I think it kind of ties in with our Medicare a little bit, because in some ways, I think if you are an advocate for your health, then you can maybe, if you are in charge of your health preemptively, you spend less in maybe other elements that might go wrong. Expenses in prescriptions, in pills, or in other things. So that's where I'm at with that.
And I tell you, for many people, approaching retirement or early in retirement, it might be the very first time they've had the opportunity to take the time to explore some of the alternative or holistic approaches to health in retirement. The physical health is very important, however, and with us in this episode is Cory Hiebert from Market Medicare Advisors, of course, keeping that health insurance intact once you leave the workforce. And Cory, Market Medicare Advisors serving Kansas and Missouri, what does a meeting look like when a client comes in for the first time to Market Medicare Advisors?
Yeah, Rick, I think it was really funny. I was watching the earlier guest, and they were all talking about being calm and how to cool your mental and take care of your mental health. And then I thought it was funny because Medicare can be a very stressful component to people. And it can easily trip up that mental mindset we have. So here at Market Medicare, we try to make it as easy for the client as possible whenever they come in to meet with us. Number one is Medicare does come in two parts. It comes in Part A and Part B. And a lot of times we don't know what the two different parts cover. Like, what is the difference between Part A and Part B? And then you really need to understand that difference and where the gaps are in A and B. And then we have to find a way to fill in those gaps. So what we do whenever I first meet with a client is we start off with talking about what is Medicare, what are A and B, and where are those gaps. And then I very clearly line out the two completely different options we have in covering our health care, whether it be a Medicare supplement and a prescription drug plan or a Medicare Advantage plan. We go through and we break down every single one of those options in very bite-sized pieces that are easy to understand.
Cory, we've only got about a minute left. So real quickly, what should people be bringing in when they want to have a meeting with you?
Yeah, to maximize our time so that we're not just jabbering away, I think it's best if we bring in and we know our current doctors that we are visiting with. That can be important when looking at networks of doctors potentially. The other biggest thing is prescription drugs. We need you to bring in your prescription drug list because that can make a huge difference on which way we go and which avenue which plan we decide to go with.
Cory Hiebert with Market Medicare Advisors. Real quick, how can people reach you?
Yeah, you can reach us here at 316-252-8707 or at marketmedicareadvisors.com.
Rebecca, it went super fast, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
She's Rebecca Jones. I'm Rick Everett, and we thank you for being with us on this edition of Health in Retirement and look forward to seeing you again next week.
This broadcast is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Each individual investor situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Foundations only transacts business in the states where it is registered or is excluded or exempt from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by security regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Legal services are offered by Eidelman Law Firm. Tax services offered by Market Tax Services. Market Advisory Group does not provide legal or tax advice. Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.